Let's bring in Brian Mahoney, who is in the middle of all this intrigue in Manhattan. That's where he covers the Knicks for the Associated Press. And Brian, how was this Porzingis news received around town amongst Knicks fans over the last 24 hours?
Well, being a Knicks fan, some loved it and a lot hated it. It's been a real mixed bag. There are some people who look at it like, how could they have traded this guy? He was the best player they've drafted in years, and he was going to be the superstar here for years and years to come. And there's a lot of people who look at the possibilities now with the cap space they have, with the picks they have, that maybe, whoa, we can really do something here really fast. So, over the last 24 hours, there has been, a great debate in New York, and I can really see both sides of it.
In terms of the risk moving forward, does the management in New York, Steve Mills in particular, is there a confidence level that they're going to get one of these A-list free agents for certain, or are they gambling more than they might let on?
Well, I have to assume they feel really good about it because no matter what, even if they say, look, Kristaps didn't want to be here, and even if you're concerned about coming off the ACL, you still don't make that move in my mind unless you're really sure there's going to be a great payoff beyond just, draft picks and Dennis Smith Jr. So, again, we've seen teams try again in free agency and it doesn't work out. So it's always a risk, but it's a risk I think they feel is worth taking, and there's enough good guys out there in this class. Obviously, we've talked about the names forever that you kind of have to give yourself a shot to be in that race if you can.
Brian, this is the second time that Kristaps Porzingis was in trade conversations. The first time they didn't do it. One of the questions is, how does medical play into this? Do you have any idea if there was a concern that whether the back or the ACL had a significant influence in this decision, or was this just about honoring the trade request?
They said it was secondary. They were asking about the health a little bit, but I have to believe it's part of the concern. Even Kristaps himself said earlier in this year, the doctors told him there wasn't really kind of a track record of a guy his size having an ACL. Part of the reason they took the recovery so slowly was because there was nothing really to go on. Who had this previously, how long he was out. A 7'3" guy just doesn't happen very much. So there's no way they were going to know if we were going to be the same player again. I think obviously at his age, you hope he would be, and he probably will be. But when you line up your pros and cons list, why to make a deal? I think one of the things you have to consider is maybe he's not the Kristaps he would have been 2-3 years ago.
Brian, let me ask this. I'm a bit of a personnel guy. I think about your young assets, your young players, Kevin Knox and the like. You have some really good pieces. Dennis Smith Jr. getting over in a trade. How does Coach Fizdale keep these guys engaged, playing winning basketball, because you're going to lose games? You've won 10 all year. How does Fizz keep these guys engaged?
Yeah, forget the winning basketball part. They're not going to win very much. I think he's done a great job, and I think the players they have here have done a good job. There's been some guys who fall out of the rotation for a few games. Trey Burke, for one of them, was here. Moutier was, and when they come back in, they play pretty well. So he's keeping them engaged when they're not in the games, and it seems like they are playing hard. I think the young guys, a guy like when Dennis Smith Jr. comes in here, will be the same way. It didn't go his way in Dallas as much as he would have liked to. It's a great shot here. He can be the point guard of the future, maybe in New York. So I do think they'll keep playing hard. The wins are not going to come, but the effort still can be there, I think, and hopefully it will be.
Across the river, news today, D'Angelo Russell was named by Adam Silver as the replacement for Victor Oladipo on the Eastern Conference All-Star squad. What kind of validation is that for the Brooklyn Nets as a team, especially given where they're coming from over the last few seasons?
Yeah, I mean, they were really excited about it. I think they were, pretty let down when he didn't make it as a reserve on Thursday. But he's earned it. I really thought he deserved to be in this game. I wasn't totally sold on him earlier in the year, but the way he's played now, what they've lost in the backcourt with him, Karis LeVert, Alan Crabb, and now Spencer Dinwiddie, he's really had to step up his game. And since all those guys went out, they're playing some of the best basketball in the East, and that's a lot because of how well D'Angelo Russell has played. And it's really worthwhile for him to get this, and for the Nets, like you say, to kind of show that they're going in the right direction, to have an all-star now.
He's been very good here lately. Quickly, again, on the Knicks before we let you go. Dennis Smith Jr., DeAndre Jordan, Wes Matthews, not playing tonight. When are they likely to make their Knicks debuts?
I would think the next game because they all were here. They're just not playing. So they've been in New York already now, and they've met the team. So Sunday is the next game. Maybe they'll be ready for then. I think that would probably be the goal if the Knicks can make it happen.